Ready to go?
Yes, sir, we are, Coach. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Okay. All right. Good to see everybody. Exciting matchup this week. Tulsa we all got a chance to see them Friday night against South Florida. It was enjoyable to sit and watch the game, but still take away the same things I expected going into that game, and that's we're facing one of the better teams, if not possibly the best team on our schedule. I think just a very solid team from top to bottom. They're strong in all three phases. Most of the guys are the group that played against us last year. It's a team that is made up of fourth and fifth year players that have been in the program for multiple years, very experienced, very big, very athletic, good football team. So going to be a great matchup for us. Excited coming off the bye, able to get some guys some rest and get a head start on Tulsa with it being a Friday night game. So for us in the program, today's Tuesday. For everybody else in the world, today's Monday. But we started practice on Saturday for the game this coming Friday. So it's going to be a quick week. The kids will be excited to kick off Friday night and get another chance to play on the national stage. And should be an exciting matchup for us.
Okay, questions for Coach Houston?
Coach, how does testing change this week? Do you guys change the days for that with it being a Friday game?
So we tested today. We will test again tomorrow, and then we'll test Thursday morning. So we'll test 3 times this week.
And then are you guys, with it being a 9 o'clock game on Friday, are you guys traveling later Thursday, or kind of what's the travel schedule like?
We are. We're not leaving Greenville till probably about 2 o'clock. Eat dinner just a touch later Thursday evening. Get to bed just a touch later Thursday night, and just really let them sleep in Friday morning. Trying to make sure that we're well rested for the night game. So very similar day on Friday to our Saturday down in South Florida.
Coach, much of the key for Tulsa last week against South Florida was the fact that they forced 3 turnovers. How important is it going to be just to kind of take care of the football this week as much as anything else?
Well, I think it's the name of the game every week. And certainly, we've seen just Tulsa's defense is really outstanding again this year. The 16-7 game against Oklahoma State in the opener, very impressive defensive performance there. And of course, wins in their last 2 games against UCF and USF. So it's going to be a challenge. We got to do a great job with ball security. We got to do a great job with execution.
Can you update us at all with testing, obviously, and where are you? It looked like from the weekend we saw some photos on Twitter of Holton Ahlers was practicing Saturday. And do you have those 5 guys back? Where are you kind of at with things now?
We got most of them back. We'll be without a few guys this Friday, but we're getting a lot of them back from quarantine and isolation, and we're getting some of our guys that have been nicked up a little bit, getting a few more of those guys back as well. So it's certainly good to have Holton back at practice. He practiced well on Saturday, looked very sharp, and so expecting to have a great week with him as far as preparation goes.
Coach, number 23 for Tulsa, I think, is Zaven Collins defensively.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's he's everywhere. Do you have to know where he is in the pre-snap going into a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the best linebackers in our league, and probably a guy that you're going to see playing on Sunday. Just from the game at the end of the season last year, I thought he was just a quality player then, but I think he's improved over the off season. Big, can run. He had the interception return for a touchdown there Friday night. He's just a very active player, really plays downhill. You've seen when he triggers very fast on the run and really gets downhill quickly. So we're going to have to do a good job of trying to take care of him Friday night.
Coach, last year you were coming off very competitive games with Southern Methodist and Cincinnati when they were nationally ranked. And then the game with Tulsa was not as competitive. And kind of what do you take away from that game as far as preparing for the matchup this year?
Well, I mean, I don't think our team really compares in any way to last year's team. I think we all know that from a competitive standpoint and just for a lot of reasons. But the one thing that stood out to me during that matchup last year was just how big physically Tulsa was on both sides of the ball. Big receivers, big DBs, big defensive front, big offensive front. It's just a large football team. So the same guys are back. So you do know what to expect right there. And that's the reason I think that, our ability to play fast and play a very physical game Friday night is going to be very important.
Coach, they've only played 3 games and you are coming off a bye week. Most seasons in November now, you have a kind of full slate of film and you kind of know everything about each
Right.
opponent. Have you either looked at the film from last year or at least thought about that? Or do you still feel like with their 3 games this year, you still have a good grasp on game planning and whatnot?
No, with the time that we had, we've looked at most of their games from last year and just really trying to find, some different teams, how they executed on either side of the ball against this team or that team based on, what scheme they were seeing. So we've looked at a good bit of film from last year going into this game.
Coach, any chance Deontay or Noah are back for this game? I know we got to ask you every week, but are they progressing?
Sure. I think there's a chance you'll see Deontay. He's progressing along well, and starting to practice a little bit more. Noah's probably still still going to be a while.
Then what about, I know you're probably not going to give away a bunch of game plan type stuff, but with quarterback, and Ayler's back, do you still envision Mason either being in some type of packages or like Wildcat? Could he still be involved in the offense moving forward at all?
Well, I think you could. I think there's certain situations for it. And I think, the biggest thing with him, and, he and I talked about it on Saturday, is now that he's played and he understands just how fast things happen on the field on game day, for him, that experience is just so valuable. And I just, I really am trying to get him to, even while Holton is taking reps or playing on Saturday, just understanding, here's the call, here's what you're seeing defensively, just trying to see the same things that Holton is seeing, because, Holton has a great grasp of our offense. So I think that you still are in a developmental stage with Mason, but I think certainly you saw some strengths of his on display against Navy that, you could see us incorporate in, as the season moves on.
Coach, you mentioned it earlier, and you've been talking about it. They're big and physical up front defensively. What do you feel like, in your opinion, that East Carolina has to do well offensively to try to be successful against a team like the Golden Hurricane?
Well, I think we've got to continue to build on our last 2 games out in that, in both of those games, we executed at a much higher level than we did earlier in the season. We had very few MAs up front on the offensive line against Navy and against South Florida. And because of that execution, we were very productive in the run game. The quarterbacks had a lot more time in the pocket. And so I just think, we got to match their physicality up front, but we got to make sure we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. So as few self-inflicted errors as possible, which would allow us to, be more productive in the run game and the passing game.
Coach, with a little extra time off there, what's been the mood? I know when you kind of go through these games and you guys are finally able to play, 1 week and another week and not have to take these breaks. What has been the mood like for the guys? Kind of been able to recharge and, I guess, reset a little bit over the past few days?
Well, I think that, you had to get beyond the Navy game last week, and I thought they did a good job of that. But I thought, Saturday's practice was very spirited, great energy on both sides of the ball. I said it last week. I wish we'd have played last weekend because you really felt like you were getting some momentum going. But at the end of the day, it's good to have the guys back that we would have been without again this past weekend going into this game. So I think the spirits are high. The kids know we got a challenge in front of us, but I think that they have confidence in the way that they're playing. And so I expect us to be very energetic and really have a great week of practice going into that game Friday night.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, what about at home? Is there anything on the line between you and your wife if she does, in fact, stay up for the entirety of the game?
No, she was offended by my comments. But that's nothing new. That's each week.
So nothing's on the line?
No.
Okay.
Coach, Trent Holler seems to be a guy coming into his own these last few weeks. Can you talk about his play up front and really seeming to find a comfort zone?
Right. Yeah, I'm really, really excited with him. You know, he's been a guy that's really worked hard since he's gotten here and really developed a good bit. And you know what you're going to get with Trent. You know, you're going to get everything he's got inside of him. He's a physical guy. He's got good feet, got a lot of power, really strong, and very smart. So he's not going to make many mistakes. And he's continued to progress, and just hopefully we can see that continue throughout this week and this coming weekend with Friday night's game.
Coach, I had a quick recruiting question for you. Obviously, there's no local high school football being played right now. I mean, the juniors can't put out tape for coaches to see,
Right.
to be recruited and to be recruited to schools. Obviously, the senior class is already in. That's good, but these juniors are affected by that, and recruiting is different for you guys a lot now. Just talk about that and how different it is for you guys and the challenges you face.
Well, it's like everything else in 2020. It's unprecedented. You know, you got Alabama and Georgia and South Carolina all playing, Florida playing, and then North Carolina not playing, and Virginia's not playing, and so it makes it really tough with an evaluation standpoint on, both the seniors and the juniors, because a lot of guys you really want to see that senior film, and those kids are being robbed of that, and then it's also complicated by the ramifications of, basically everybody getting an extra year of eligibility from this year. So I just think the whole thing is it's crazy. We're recruiting kids and we can't see them face to face. We can't bring them on campus, let them see the facilities, let them see a game day. You can't see a player live, which that's really we put a big premium on live evaluations. I think this whole thing with the pandemic, this is not going to be just a 1 year impact on recruiting and on your rosters. This is going to be a 3 and 4 year impact on not only the high school kids, but your current kids that you have on your roster right now. And, it's something everybody's got to deal with. You got to be able to manage the roster and also still, bring guys in, because, you got to have a freshman class 4 or 5 years from now. And so it's really going to be tough.
Coach, while you're talking about recruiting, what does that do to the numbers with everybody being able to return next year? What's the approach on this sort of thing? I know various teams will probably take a different way of going about doing this, but does it affect how many people you can bring in, or how's this all going to work?
Well, you have your 85 scholarships and you have your 25 counters for the incoming class of recruits. And then all of your seniors get an extra year of eligibility. Well, everybody gets an extra year of eligibility. So, I mean, you're going to see some teams that have 110 scholarships or so next year because, those plus ones above the 85 from whatever your senior class is don't count. And so, but then you're going to come down to, institutions being restricted financially, because you are in the middle of a pandemic. And so you're going to have, those factors also. So again, I mean, that's what I'm saying is this is not a 1 year deal. This is a 3 or 4 year problem that schools are going to have to navigate and deal with.
Does that put more of a premium on getting in-state guys?
Well, I mean, the financially for the department, I would think that in-state guys will help more, but it's the whole deal is you can't have misses, and you can't have guys that are wasting a scholarship. So it's very important that you're using your slots wisely.
Coach, every state has their restrictions on fan attendance. And do you know what the situation will be at Tulsa, and how do more fans impact the atmosphere for the game?
I don't know what the situation is at Tulsa, and I know they're going to have fans. I don't know what their capacity is going to be, but certainly the more fans there, the better the atmosphere. You saw that with our Navy game. We had 3,500 fans And I thought it was a significant, improvement on the game day atmosphere from the UCF game. I thought the stadium had great energy from that small group, last Saturday, a week ago. So, it's the same at every school. Your fan base, they really make the game day atmosphere. And so, it's important to every institution.
Looking back at this matchup real quick, and your receivers, and I know that Tulsa has a big kind of physical secondary, but how much does your receivers maybe mindset or game plan change when Ehlers is back and you maybe have more of a passing approach compared to a lot of blocking they did obviously against Navy?
Well, I think the whole thing is just most of them have been with Holton for, multiple years. And so, and of course they, during the pandemic, most of them were working out with him. And so they've got a lot of reps with him. Mason is going to be a very good passing quarterback in time. It's just, you can't substitute for the, 1,000+ reps that Holton Ehlers has had. And that's just that timing and that chemistry and all that stuff is just so important. And it's so hard to generate and develop. And I think that our group has a really solid kind of deal with Holton because of all that experience there. So, they're going to gain that in time with Mason also, and with some of the other quarterbacks. But it's just, those guys are very young and have only been here a very small amount of time.
Okay, are there any other questions for Coach Houston? Okay, Coach, thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good week.
Okay, see you.